Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Caught on the Mic. What happens when you take a member of one of punk rock's most iconic bands and combine him with a legendary Grammy-winning producer? You get one of rock's music most interesting albums, and honestly, it's so inspired. I absolutely love it. 84 Days. It's also the name of the project of my new friends, Randy Bradbury and Cameron Webb. How the heck are you guys?
Hello.
Doing great.
Doing great.
Excited to be here. Excited to have a fan. This is awesome.
Let's jump right into it. Like I was telling you guys before we pressed record, Find Your Way Back Home has been kind of my theme song this last week. Randy, you've been a part of one of punk's most iconic bands for decades, but this time something different hit you, like something personal. Take me back to that moment when these songs started coming to you. What did it feel like to suddenly become, as you put it, a receiver for something bigger?
Yeah, well, that was just something that I had, I wanted to get in and start writing, and I felt like this was during a time where I just felt like it was missing. I got a 4-track in 1988. I've been recording ever since, but there's periods of time I go through where I'm not writing music, and it doesn't seem apparent to me. But at a certain point down the road, I'm like, oh, I know what's going on. I need to start writing again. So I wanted to go in and just kind of write songs for myself. I had to tell myself I'm not going to self-edit. I'm going to write the first things that come to my mind, because I realized that some of my best songs that I wrote, they kind of like felt like they were just downloaded to me, like 15 minutes you have a song and you're like, I don't even know where that came from. I had also, at the same time, I had seen an interview. It happened to be with Bob Dylan, but he was saying, they were asking him, how'd you write all those great songs back in the day? And he's like, I don't know. So I wanted to recreate that. The I don't know feeling. It's just like, and I feel like it was coming to me. So that's, I kind of tried to stand out of the way and just try to like go with whatever was coming to me and use the first idea that I received.
Cameron, when Randy sent you those demos, just looking for an opinion, you immediately told them that you guys needed to make a record. What grabbed you about those songs right away?
You know what? It's just, Eddie's been writing songs for Pennywise for years, and I have all these CDs that have Randy's songs on them that I've always listened to, but I throw them away when they're not like based off of that band. So when he sent me these ones, he's like, I want to do a solo record. And I'm like, wow, well, you have some, these are all great solo record songs. Let's just do this. And we kind of, the editing process that he didn't want to do, I did. I said, I like these ones. I think you should throw those ones away. And I think you should focus on these 11 songs. And he looked at those 11 songs and he goes, I love it. I want to do those songs. And they're more rock. They're more mid-tempo. Find My Way Back Home. It's just like, it just reminds me of like a club in the 90s, just driving, kind of a dark club with black everywhere. And that's what that song is. And that's one of my favorite songs as well.
At what point did this just stop being Randy's songs and start feeling like an actual band? When did 84 Days become its own living, breathing thing?
I don't know. When Cameron and I got in the studio, it was a collaboration from day one, because I had said, hey, here's my part. Here's these songs. Here's my ideas. And he's a whiz at producing, right? That's what he does. So I'm like, what's your vision for these songs? So when we got in there, it was like I was handing over my best ideas to him so he could use his best ideas and we could do a whole thing. And we were in there just bouncing ideas off of each other at points, and passing. And he would say, hey, do a guitar part like this. And I would say, I don't know how to make that sound that you're asking me to make. And so he'd go, give me the guitar. And then, so we were passing the guitar back and forth, and it was really cool. So it was a collaboration from day one.
And I have a lot of respect for Randy's bass playing. He's an amazing bass player. And when you hand it over to him, he plays it like a pro. He holds those strings tight. He has all these riffs that he does. And it was just fun to like sit next to him. And then there'd be moments where I'm like, Randy, but you could do something different. And he would be like, okay, you're different, and I would take it over, and then I would play the riff and do something different, and it was just fun. Like it was back, and then I tried to hand it back to him. He'd be like, "Nope, it's yours now. You're doing it," and it was just it was just like two kids. There was no like fighting over like who gets the instrument. It's like if you handed it off, then you're stuck with it. Like if you had an opinion, you're stuck with it, and that's what it's just a good collaboration.
I think we left our egos out of it, which was really cool. And I can only do that because I know Cameron, I've worked with him, and I trust him. So I thought if he has a great idea, then it's not a threat to me. It's going to make art.
It wasn't a competition for us at all.
Right. Right.
Do you think a lot of that was because you guys did have such a long working relationship together through Pennywise and other projects?
I think that's how I became aware of what Cameron can do, but it's only because I respect his ability and his ideas and trust him that I know that he's always trying to do the best. He's trying to make it the best he can in his vision, and he's able to execute a lot of stuff. So there weren't those problems of,
right.
Stuff.
For me, it's this thing where like, when you're in a band with four people, you can only do certain things. You're in this box. And with this, it was just Randy. So if Randy wanted to do something out of the box and it sounded cool, who's to say it wasn't the right thing for this band? And that was what the charm was. It was like, it was finally just letting Randy just do whatever the hell he wants to do, and achieve something new.
I love that. And the collaborations like wizardry, because you guys brought in some heavy hitters to collaborate on this. Adrian Young from No Doubt, Warren from the Vandals. How did those collaborations come together, and what kind of energy did they bring to the record?
Oh, tons.
So
I mean,
both of them, so much.
What's that?
Both of them had so much energy. They both.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, not just one of them.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Adrian, I've known him since forever, just from playing around in the scene in Long Beach. But I had a chance to play some songs with him about, I don't know, 7 years or so ago, maybe a little more than that. And there was a really good vibe. I love the way he plays. So when it was time to do an album, I just reached out, and he added such a great feel, and his ideas were good, and it was kind of the same type of thing. It was like I trusted him to do his best work. I had demos of me playing drums on the songs and the basic structures and things like that, and I'm like, now we need you to do the special thing to it, So that's what he brought, and then Warren is just. He's a genius. He's like, no one really plays guitar like him. And so we wanted that feel on the record. And so that was a lot of fun having him in there.
We were kind of joking about it because I always say to Randy, when Randy wants something from someone, I say, just call the person. And Randy will like text somebody. I'll be like, if you call them, they'll say yes. If you text them, they're going to say maybe. And so it was like this thing, and I'm like, what about Warren? Like, you've known Warren forever. And he goes, so do you. He goes, I dare you to call him. So I picked up the phone and I called Warren. And I said, hey, Warren, would you want to play on Randy's record? And he goes, fuck yeah, let's do this. When do we start? And I was just like, okay, what are you doing on Friday? And we sent him a song, and then he showed up on Friday. And here's the thing, he showed up to do a solo. We're like, hey, we need a shredding solo. Well, Warren learns the whole song, top to bottom. So we sit here for 6 hours or 8 hours. It was forever. I don't know why it took us so long, but he played the whole song top to bottom. He put a totally different riff in the song. He did a solo. He broke 5 strings. He tuned his guitar out of tune a million times, bent it, did everything that Warren does. And it was total chaos for 6 hours, and the studio was a mess. And when we walked out the door, we looked at each other and we're like, we thought that was going to take 15 minutes, but it was 8 hours of just pure fun. It was awesome. He's a rad dude.
Well, he ended up playing all the rhythms on that song on Wasting the Night, and it just was perfect for the song too. So that's more of that kind of symmetry, that kind of like you know, like what is the universe trying to get us to do, you know? So, and it's fun to just believe that and go along with it. Cause at least then you feel like, you know, you have some type of direction, although you don't know what it is. You just like, everything's going to happen the way it's supposed to. So I look at life like that anyways. It's helpful. So.
And I've been like a fan of both those guys since I was forever. I mean, I used to follow Warren when he was in a band called Gherkin Ruckus. And this is like 1989, 1990. And we'd show up at shows. And I had a band at that time called Spider Pie, which is a terrible cover band from high school. And we used to cover a song called Eggs Bunk and a song called Caterpillar that Warren wrote. And I remember when I first met him, he goes, yeah, there's some guys that are covering some of our songs. And he goes, oh yeah, that's me and my buddy Neil. And he's like, oh, you're the guys. We'd had like crappy cassettes. They weren't even like releases. It was awesome. Right. So we've been following Warren forever, me and my friends.
What's funny is this is the second story that I've heard like this in recent weeks. I had John Heinz on my show a couple weeks ago from the Big Nasty Get Down. It's just this massive project. And he was talking about how he had a session guitarist in the studio and he was trying to coach him to play a solo like Vernon Reid from Living Colour. And eventually he just picked up the phone and he's like, fuck. He goes, if I wanted to sound like Vernon Reid, I'm just going to fucking call Vernon Reid. And he ended up calling Vernon Reid. And they ended up doing this massive solo and it turned out absolutely awesome. So you love when those serendipitous moments kind of come together like that, for sure.
Yes.
So this album has great tension between rebellion and melody, like classic punk rock energy, but it also has a lot of heart. Was that intentional or did it just naturally flow out that way?
I think it's intentional because I sometimes when I'm writing lyrics, like I'm writing about a certain thing that I want to, it's kind of personal to me. I want to get it off my chest or whatever, but I would never want to sacrifice melody for trying, because, you know, a lot of times when you write lyrics, I believe that now they're there for everyone else to get a meaning out of it. I don't want everyone to think exactly like me. I want to put them on paper and hopefully some people get inspired by something or think something of it. And, but the most important thing, I think that you don't even get in the starting block unless you have melody. Melody is everything. Like melody can make me feel something without lyrics, you know? But if you get lucky and you're able, but I do have things to say and I do think writing is I enjoy writing and it's challenging to be able to take your thoughts and get them on paper and then have people be able to, for you to be able to convey any message at all. And, so yeah, combining them together, I'm like, I don't care if maybe this song should sound sad or if this song should sound angry or if it should sound super happy. I'm going to somehow fit them together because the melody is there. And now I want to have something that I feel strongly about and write about. So yeah, it was purposeful. Kind of purposeful neglect actually, because I just want that good sounding melody, you know, if I can attain it.
I look at it a different way. Like I let the responsibility of the melody and those lyrics sit on Randy, but I look at that and I go, well, how do I make the best tone with each one of those sounds and styles? Like Find Your Way Back Home. It's got this like Fender Bassman sort of like twang riff in the beginning. And those things to me are inspiring, but if you can match them with the inspiration that Randy has with the context, all of a sudden it becomes this bigger and more broad thing. It's not just throwing a microphone on a cab and be like, just play. It's not that. It's like, hey, that's the wrong amp. That's the wrong guitar. Let's switch stuff up to get the correct mood that you're chasing with the lyrics and the melodies.
Yeah, and you did, and that has a huge part to play in it. Absolutely.
I do. I think so too.
So do each one of you guys have your own favorite song off of the album? And if so, one at a time, which one is it and why?
I don't think I have a favorite song necessarily because they're all like your baby, like you're creating and they're all very important. And some of your, it's funny too, because not all the songs end up being good, but when you're doing them, you're writing them, you're in love, and and then you realize later, you go like, oh, it's kind of an ugly baby, but it's my, but that's not, I got sidetracked, but I do love all the songs, or else I wouldn't have written them, and I'm very happy with how they turned out. But the one that, it just kind of has a special vibe to it for me is Smiling While You Drown. Like,
Last song on the
I
record.
think, yeah, the last song, it's just like, I don't know, something about it. I like the sentiment. I like the sentiment that, hey, we all go through hard times. Life is not easy at all, but it's super enjoyable. Like every problem is something that you look for the solution. So you overcome, because every single day the alarm goes off and you get up and you're like, oh, my, I don't know, I'm a little sore. And it's like, well, there's a solution. You can stretch, blah, blah, blah. So I love that song. Yeah, because I think it encapsulates all that.
It's tough for me to like choose one. Like since we've been playing them and rehearsing them with Smelly, they've morphed a little bit differently. So Find the Righteous is one of my favorites because it's just you're marching and you're punching, you're bum bum dun 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 dun. I love that feel, and like it gives you, there's energy that like you feel like a kid and you feel like other people are going to feel that energy when it hits you. Other songs like Find Your Way Back Home, that's just, I mean, it's a fast, like you want it to be driving, kind of aggressive, but it's got a different sort of style, and it's more like wearing a leather jacket or something. And then, I mean, lyrically, like, Don't Trust the Government, it's just this obvious thing, like, it's this thing you can fucking sing along to and it'd be super fun. Like, I think that would be enjoyable when people are singing along to that. So, and there's a lot of variety in the record, and I think that's important.
That's a good call out because you guys have been rehearsing with Smelly from NOFX, getting ready for some live shows. Let's talk about translating this to the live environment. How are you feeling about bringing 84 Days to the stage for the first time? And how do you see the songs translating live?
I'm really excited to be able to play these songs live. I mean, I love playing live. I've been playing ever since, I don't know, the early 80s. It's just, there's something about there's something about that, because what you could do nowadays, you have all kinds of things. You have, I don't know, you have, in the studio, you have tricks. You've had like drum replacers and Pro Tools, and now you have AI. But you know what those things can't do necessarily is they can't play live. AI can't play live. So it's real, and you're in the moment, and you're either good or you're not good. So it matters so much, because if you want to have that, if you want to convey what you hear in your head, if you want to convey that, you have to focus, you have to do work, and it's just like the payoff is to play, and if people like it. So I love playing live. As far as like, what is it going to be like? We're realists, I'll speak for myself. I think that when you speaking again about what is this idea that you have that you want to put on a record, that you want everyone else to hear, like what's going on in your head, that's what I want to go on the record. I don't care if it's like, oh, we're never going to get that I don't know, that spoon player, we're never going to have a spoon player on stage. We're not going to have a trumpet over here. We're not going to, or whatever you put in there. I'm using silly examples, but you're never going to make it sound like the record unless you're like, I don't know, Bruce Springsteen, and you can hire 20 players. So that's not important. And playing live is about an energy. It's about an interaction with the crowd. So I want to make the record to be the vision. And I don't care if we can actually recreate that exact vision, because even if you had all those players, there's too many variables. It's so playing live is different. Playing live is energy. So we're just a 3-piece live. We're a 3-piece live. We got Smelly on drums. He's going to kick ass. We got Cameron on bass. He's doing cool, different stuff. He's like, hey, I got some ideas for some stuff. What does this sound like? Go for it. We have to go for it. And live is going for it, and making something happen. So that's what we're looking for live.
I think a lot of it is like when Randy and I first said, hey, let's go practice this song. Let's just take Adrian's drums and put them in a PA, and we're going to turn our amps on 10 and we're going to play along to it. and it was cool and it was fun. And obviously the tracks, the drums never made mistakes, and there was never pushes and pulls that we didn't think of. But then the first day we brought Smelly in, it was a mess. But it was the most magical mess you can imagine. Cause he's like, oh, I just learned a couple songs. Here you go. And he'd play along. But there were these moments came where you're just like, this was a million times better than playing to the PA. It was just like, all of a sudden there's a sloshiness, there's an extra kick or whatever the heck is going on. And this is where, like, I think this is where you replace your AIs and all that crap. Like, it's about energy and it's about three people. And we talked about, like, well, Cameron, there's a couple songs where there's like a rhythm guitar and a lead. And I go, guess what? I'm going to have a bass tone where maybe I'm going to grid it up there. So it's going to fill the void of a missing rhythm guitar, and your lead is going to shine. And it's not going to be like, hey, let's get another guitar player and make noises live. It's like, no, like, we're going to build this thing so it sounds like close to the record, but different than the record, but it will have power and energy. And you can't get that unless you put three people together and they make mistakes and then they do good stuff too. Like, and guess what? It's just gotten better and better and more powerful and more powerful. And Smelly does different fills sometimes. And you're like, oh, that's great too. Let's keep it. It's not like, hey, let's chase something else that exists. And we're just having fun with it.
Yes. You know, you guys bring up some good points, and maybe I'm going to take this a little bit off course for a moment, but you know, the toothpaste is the toothpaste is already out of the tube as far as AI and streaming goes specifically. And something that I like talking to a lot of artists and people in the industry about is, you know, there's almost like two trains of thought running at the same time. People talk about social media algorithms and such, and that the most engaging stuff is the most authentic and true to life stuff. But we're giving rise to these platforms that are not true to life. What are your guys' individual feelings about streaming and AI at large and how it's impacted the music industry?
Let me go with this for 1 second, Randy.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yes.
So my opinion about, like, here's the thing. Here's what's happened with music in general. There's a lot of commercials on TV and there's a lot of movies. So people are like, oh, we got to get our songs in movies and in commercials. So all of a sudden you go back to the Beastie Boys. When the Beastie Boys first did their stuff, they said, hey, we're never going to put our songs in commercials. It's not an option. That's it. And they don't. They still don't to this day, which I respect that so much, because guess what? We're like human beings. We're doing stuff. Yes, people are going to use AI for commercials and stuff like that, but who cares who's under like a Ozempic commercial or whatever? Like, do you really want to be that person that is the ear medicine or whatever? Like, no, you don't. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. And it's not always about just profiting from these things. And so your AIs and stuff, they're the business people in the world are going to be, well, it's cheaper to just do that than hire the three of you. And it's like, they're going to do it and there's nothing we can do. But all we can do is say, hey, you know what? We're three guys in a band and we're going to make some music and it's going to be noisy, and some people are going to show up and some people are going to hate us. That musical director might not want us. It's like, then we're the wrong people for that. But when you put people together, you get mistakes, you get interesting things. You don't get this bit-ridden junk that's like anyone else can do. Because guess what? Music's about hard work and it's by putting effort in. It's about rehearsing and doing stuff. It's not about saying, I bet you I can write a song in 10 seconds. Bam, there's a song. Well, what's the purpose of that song? I mean, there's going to be a song that becomes important one day, but it's just kind of junk, I think. So I got to stay away from it.
You mentioned streaming, so I'm assuming you're going back to Napster, you know, right? When that first started. So I think that, in the long run, look, none of these things are necessarily good, for your wallet. But I think with streaming, that made music available to everyone. Every band, if you could just hear the name, then people could go see if they like you or not. So I think that the exchange there was like, yeah, maybe you're not going to sell as many records, but you're going to get a bigger audience. And I'm like a huge audience. I know for Pennywise, we have an insanely large field of places we can go play in the world and have people that know and love our music. And I mean, you can't even put a price tag on that. So that's totally worth it. And then of course with Spotify now and subscription services, the same things. I want people to hear our music. As far as AI goes, man, I fucking hate it. I wish it didn't exist. It's just a bummer. It's such an insanely huge bummer on such a massive scale we can't even comprehend. But we're smiling while we drown, on that. But what are you going to do about it? You can't do anything about it. But what I focus on is that making music for me feels good. I love it. I play all the time. I want to do that all the time. I want to create music. So I don't want to worry about this AI thing out there. There's people that I love making music. Cause you know what else AI can't do? AI can't receive stuff from the universe and make a song out of it. AI can scrape the web and scrape, all the anything musical and put it together, but it isn't creating, And, so that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of like a spark that's divine in a certain degree. So there's a connection there, and that makes me feel good. So it doesn't matter that all these things are out there. I'm going to keep playing music and I love it. And especially when you go perform live, because that's the thing that matters. Even when you add up streaming and you add up AI, the thing that neither of those can do is go play live. So that's where everything is. It's like, get out there and play in front of people. And, so it's still rewarding,
Hell yes. The reason I always ask the streaming question is because I think about it in terms of like fleshing out a full concept. Because the thing I've noticed more so in the past 8 or 9 years is the way that people release albums is totally different now than when we were all younger. Like, sure, we may have heard one single and then it led up to the album and then we got the full body of work. But now it seems like release strategies are trickle a single every couple of months, and you've basically heard the full album before the full album even releases. So, moreover, kind of to add a layer to that, what are your guys' feelings about that style of release strategy?
For me, I think of it like this. If you're like a bigger artist that already has a catalog and you have records out and you do a single here or there, I think that's cool. But if you're starting out and you're like, oh, I'm going to release a single and release one song, and then 8 months later you release a second song, and then a year later you release a third, that's not an artist. That's just someone goofing around at their house. And should be set. You should keep that in your closet until you have 12 of those things, so we can see that one's good and 10 of them stink, or maybe all 10 of them are kick ass. Because here's the thing. If I listen to something, I'm like, oh, wow, this song's kind of cool, and there's not a one to follow it, guess what? I throw it away and I'll never listen to it again. And it's like, but if there were 5 of those and half of them were crap, I'd be like, this band's rad. Those other songs are junk, but this one's so good. So I think that's an important thing. And I think going to back to the streaming, sort of the big picture of the streaming, it's a good thing because now I can access whatever band I want. Someone says, hey, I check out Metallica or check out Foo Fighters, and I'll listen to any song. The downside I don't like is that back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, there used to be these filters of major labels, and they would present us 20 bands a year, and you'd get Led Zeppelin and The Who and The Doors, and there were all these crappy bands that you never heard of and we still don't know about. So there was this side of things that they were giving us quality, we think. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, right. But now what's happened is now there's too much content. There's
Agreed.
There's 100,000 artists to listen to, and you're like, well, which one do I listen to? I want something new, and it's kind of a headache to me. And and then I kind of go back to the older artists that I grew up with and go, oh, I'm just going to listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers because it's just too much drama dealing with this stuff. And then when you hit a playlist, you're like, oh, well, I'll just go for the Red Hot Chili Peppers playlist, and you get all these songs you don't like from other artists, and you're like, wait a second, I want to go back to the things I like. So that's the algorithm thinking that they know what I want. It's like, I don't want to hear Everlong 50 times in a row, or I don't want to hear Jeremy from Pearl Jam 50 times in a row. Give me one of the B-sides on those records. That's what I personally want to hear. So that's where I think it's a little bit flawed. And I don't know. I miss because guess what? Now the filter is the producers. The producers are filtering things, but now the producers are getting paid by the artist, so we're not filtering as hard as we used to. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of good stuff there. I think that the thing I could touch on as far as like, release cycles go, I don't really know. I don't know what the strategies are now. I just want to make music, but I do like the idea of listening to a whole album. Like the thing that was great, that I wish we could recreate is that when, talking about recently when you'd have CDs, you put a CD in your car, and that CD might just sit there for like a couple weeks. And by the time you've driven up to LA and back, you've heard that CD 3 times. And now you just love it. You can't wait to go for a drive so you can listen to your music. So, you can do that with streaming, which is really cool. But like Cameron said, there's really way too many options. And well, there's not too many options, but it just feels overwhelming with how many options. And I do the same thing. I'll be listening to, it's funny, he listens to Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I listen to Black Sabbath, or Rainbow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but the point is I go back to the old stuff. But that whole experience of like having a CD in there is like Bad Religion occupied like 10 years of my life with their CDs in my car. And that was one of the reasons why I love Pennywise so much. But yeah, I mean, just the whole thing. And before that, you used to get records and you'd sit there in your room and like you would sit there and try to figure out what you would see one picture and imagine to yourself how cool these people were. Like everyone in bands, like these were supermen. These were super people. Like, cause you were using your imagination, like when you read a book, but nowadays you can go on the internet and you can see a million pictures about a guy. And then somewhere along the line, there's going to be reasons to not like the person. And the algorithm, you brought up the algorithm, it's going to keep feeding you that crap. The algorithm is just the cheapest low-hanging fruit trick. It's another thing, but we all have the option to turn off these devices and do something real, like
the algorithm,
go play music.
After this interview, the algorithm's going to be so mad at us that it's going to like take us off of everything. Like, you talk shit about me. I'm pissed off. I'm going to put weirdo photos of you, Randy. Or take them all off.
Yeah.
It's another interesting thing about like streaming and stuff like that. So I have this friend that we go to the river and we go wakeboarding, and it's Barry Love and Leslie Love. And Leslie is she likes different music than I does, more poppy stuff from the 80s and 90s. But she loves hits. She wants every single song to be a hit. And if it's not a hit, she skips it. And I'm like, I just want to listen to Back in Black, top to bottom. I want to listen to Pink Floyd, top to bottom, Red Hot Chili Peppers. And we get into biggest arguments because she's like, no, we got to keep it going. But here's the thing. And my argument is that we need ups and downs in our life, because if we're always peaking at the best song, God, bam, all of a sudden we're exhausted. Like, oh my God, I just need a friggin' nap. But if you get the ups and downs, you get your valleys, and you get these high highs and you get low lows. But the highs mean more than everything being on 10.
Yeah, I agree. And you know where the algorithm's not going to find us, guys?
Where's that?
Listening to vinyl. It's not going to find us while we're listening to vinyl.
Yeah, that's true.
It can't calculate that.
Right. And so that kind of leads to my next question. Is there any chance in hell that there's going to be an 84 days vinyl pressing?
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
It's mainly vinyl besides streaming. So if you get it, you have to buy the vinyl.
Yes.
They're not. Yes. I think he went to go grab it. I don't know where Cameron went, but I have one of, I could probably get it before him, but, no, vinyl, just those days, just that idea of just going down and getting that record and slitting the plastic, leaving the plastic on, so it preserves it, and then holding it all, safely. Did you just go get the album? What'd you do? Oh, there it is.
I did. There it is.
Hell yes. I love it.
And what's amazing is Jeff at Double Helix he's a super fan of vinyl. So he's like, well, we got to do colored vinyl. Well, which color should we do? And we're like, well, how about just a blue or a green? He goes, why don't we do like several different colors? So each one, they have like different Like this is like a green one. It's amazing. Everyone
awesome.
he did. It's just
that's
rad.
sick.
So it's
And it has a fold out.
Yeah, he doesn't mess around. He did a full fold out as well. Like it's not just like that little thing. So you're like, whoa.
Oh my gosh. I absolutely love that. You guys, like, that is my nightly ritual. I swear my wife could absolutely kill me, but I have my record player and peach crates in our freaking dining room, and I will go grab a record, put it on the record player, and I will sit on the floor in front of my peach crates and listen to records. Like, there's
That's
nothing
amazing.
like that. There's nothing like that.
Not. Nope. You're right. That's amazing.
It's super fun.
I love that. I love that. And I love this conversation, guys. So let me ask, what's next for 84 Days?
We're going to play some shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Randy.
We have we have shows lined up in December. We're like some of our debut shows are with the Vandals. They do Christmas shows every year, and I know I've known Dave, the singer, since high school. We've been buddies forever, and he was like, the minute he found out that me and Cameron had a band, he's like, oh, well, you got to play these shows with us. So that's going to be super fun. We're lining up whatever we can in 2026. So we want to go out and try to play. We're going to work around our schedules, which we have plenty of time, and go play anywhere we possibly can that sounds like it's fun and cool.
And hopefully people the support live music, and they'll see that like we're out there having fun, and that's what we're all there for. Like we rehearse like crazy, and we hope people see what we see in the music.
I love that. So the $1 million question is there going to be a follow-up eventually?
Well, that's the whole point. Probably, like for me, like I've said all along. Yeah, for me that I've said all along, like I want to do good enough so that we don't have to, like, so we can validate ourselves to be able to do another album, because that's so much fun. And I already have, I know I've been driving Cameron crazy with this, but I already had I've already written an album, or more than an album's worth of songs, because I wanted to keep going on the momentum after we finished that one. So I went home and I just kept writing. And, so I have tons of songs. So, because you know what? Because I knew we were going to be absolutely huge, and I didn't want that to affect my writing. But you know what I mean? I just wanted to go with the flow. And, so I really, really want to record more music. I want to record with Smelly and Cameron on bass. And
here's the thing. He sent me those songs, and I keep them in this folder, and I hide them away. And I said, and in my mind, Randy's like, well, why don't you listen to them right now? I said, you know what? Let's just like play some shows and watch and learn and see what the crowd likes, and see which songs work and don't work. And then we'll go into that folder and then say, hey, you know what? I think these are better for the next record, and choose that way. And Randy's excited. I'm so glad that he wrote all those songs, and we're going to get to them. But I know, like, it's growing. It's something that's like, it's not like, hey, here's how you make a band. You do these 10 steps. It just goes everywhere. Like it's like a tree that just branches, and all of a sudden Smelly's in the band, and we're playing shows with the Vandals. Like it's just, let's just keep growing and see what happens. And then when we need those extra songs, let's pull a bunch out.
Love that analogy, because that's truly how a band does grow. Like, it's usually you hear what could be on the first album and you get really excited, but you see that natural organic growth on the follow-up. And you can point to any band in the history of music and prove that point to a certain degree. I love that.
And there should be diversity. Every record should have diversity. They should be different. They shouldn't be exactly the same. Because then people are just going to get, then people are like, well, your first record was your best. It's like, well, they're just different. Like, and you're going to find different audiences too.
Yes. Well, guys, I've really enjoyed this conversation. My closing question, I ask it of every guest that does my show, and it's a little bit off the wall. But given your experience in life and in music, one at a time, what's your advice for making the world a better place tomorrow than what it is today through your eyes?
My advice would be to not believe everything you hear. It'd be to think about stuff, to figure out like, well, first of all, you have to care. You want to be a good, I mean, okay, I'm going to go on a soapbox. You have to care. You have to want to be a good person. And then you have to make decisions. And you can't just, and in order to make decisions, you've got to think about stuff. So these are things that my dad would tell me. He'd say, you got to be proactive. You got to use your brain. And so just those very simple things, like if you want the world to be a better place, you got to envision it. You got to think about what do you really want? You got to think about the counteractions of the actions you may take. So it's very complicated. And, there it is. But in the meantime, we'll be smiling while we drown.
I think what it is for me is it's not just music. It's like if you like something and you want to be good at something, do that thing and be great at that thing. And don't let people tell you you can't do things. If it's playing music, if it's playing video games, if it's sewing, I don't care what it is, but spend that time and that effort because you enjoy it and there's something about it. And it's not always about a competition about being the most successful. It's like, yes, we want to be great and you want to be the best band in the world and all that stuff. But it's like, it's just us as human beings, like in embracing in what we have and how lucky we are to do certain things and just go for it. And don't always listen to other people. The whole rest of the world is judging us and all this stuff. It's like, you know what? Throw that away. Like, how do you feel about what you're doing? How do I feel about the bass I'm playing? Like, this is great or no, this is junk. Let's throw it away. Like just, believe in yourselves that's what I would suggest.
I love that. I love that. And man, I got to tell you guys, I am sincerely a fan of your band. Ladies and gentlemen, check out 84 Days on your favorite streaming platform. But more importantly, go check out their vinyl available through Double Helix Records. It is a beautiful looking vinyl, gatefold cover. There's no reason you shouldn't own it. Randy, Cameron, I have really enjoyed talking to you guys. The world is a much better place with you guys in it. Thanks for doing the show.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Appreciate it.